Two people tell the exact same story. One person captures the audience's attention. The other person doesn't have as much luck. What is the difference? What is the difference that allows one person to be an exceptional storyteller and the other to just fade through the cracks? What's up, everyone? I want to welcome you to another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets with myself, Munir, and we are live. And today I'm going to be talking to you about storytelling power and the secret to awesome delivery. Now, before we go into this in too much detail, I want to talk about the yin and yang. So perhaps you've heard of yin and yang. Yin and yang is the concept of duality in it's a Chinese symbol, and it represents duality. What do I mean by that? It's like saying, for there to be light, you need dark, right? They are complementing each other. For one to exist, you need the other. For you to experience relief, there needed to be pain, for example. For the darkness, light, happiness, sadness, etc. There's certain duality, but there's a duality principle. For something to have an opposite, sometimes they complement each other and they coexist. And that's what a yin and yang is. And this is kind of the secret to amazing storytelling. And this is like adding this one concept, which is contrast, is so powerful because it will allow you to effectively tell a story. It will allow you to capture people's attention. It will allow people to truly be intrigued, interested, and want to understand what you're talking about. So I want you to think of this in the real world. Like you've seen, you've had one of those lectures or those teachers at university or at school that just spoke in a very monotone voice, and then you just talk, and like you just got really bored. You wouldn't pay attention. You just wouldn't be interested in this teacher's class because the way that they spoke was just so boring. It would just put you to sleep. Or if you've seen a movie, like a movie has so much going on, and that's why you pay attention. But if it was just like a still picture, like if nothing was happening, it might as well just be a picture, looking at a picture, because the reason you watch a movie is because of all the contrast, all the different things that happen. So, that's how it happens in real life. Now, I want to share with you, when I was younger, I wanted to learn comedy. I wanted to learn being funny. So when I first started, I would watch. It was Eddie Murphy's Delirious. I remember it, and I used to watch his stand-up comedy special so many times. I learned all the words by heart, and I thought it was the funniest thing. And I learned what he was saying, and I learned it by heart. And then I went to my cousin, and I was like, "Hey." I went and I retold all the jokes. Like I told him exactly what Eddie Murphy had said, and I was like, and I said exactly what the guy had said, Eddie Murphy. And my cousin's just blunt, like, Munir, stop it. You're spoiling the joke. Like, really, that was terrible. I don't know if you have a cousin. Have any of you got a cousin that's just blunt, or someone that you know is just blunt? That tell it like it is. Anyhow, they were like, Munir, you just spoiled the joke. You literally have no idea how to tell the joke. Please don't tell that joke again. And I was like, first of all, after crying myself to sleep, I went and I studied. Like, what was I missing? I went and looked at what was Eddie Murphy doing that was different? What could I do that was different? And I just started studying, and I started saying it exactly the way that he'd say it. I'd move the same way and everything. And that's how I began my journey into becoming funnier. by copying the delivery. Like I didn't even know, I didn't study what I was doing, but now I realized that I would copy the delivery, and the delivery had so much contrast in it. So today I'm going to share with you this contrast framework, and that's because that's how I managed to start to become funnier from being someone that was completely not funny, because I started to copy delivery. I didn't even know what I was doing, but by copying delivery, I started copying the contrast. And now I kind of know what I was doing then, but that's how I started. That's how I started to learn how to become funny and make people laugh, by just copying the delivery. But in what I was copying was contrast, and that's what I was missing before, the contrast. So I'm going to give you a framework for contrast. So if you want to tell an effective story, you need contrast. And what do I mean by contrast? First of all, for there to be an effective story, you need a before and an after. Like the circumstances change. If you like, otherwise there's nothing that's happened in the story. It's not a story, it's a picture. Like, people listen to a story because there was a before and then there's an after, right? In my story just then, I started out where I couldn't tell a joke. I was not funny. I failed miserably. And then I managed to get out of that by studying someone that was successful. There was a before and there was an after. Even though it was a short story, but there was a before and there was an after. That makes a story. So number one, you have to have a contrast with the before and after. And then another thing is spatially. If you're on a stage, you might want to have you stand in one part of the stage for the beginning of the story and another part of the stage for the end of the story. You want to have a spatial contrast or movement. Right now, I mean, even though I'm doing a video, if you could see when I do a video, I have to stay in the same place, but I do change things up. If I had a very still camera, if I was just talking like this, I might just talk like this over here and move a little bit, but there's contrast. By doing this, I have contrast, or I do this. There's another bit of contrast. Now, spatially, then there's the pace in which I talk. Sometimes you'll see when I tell a story, I'll talk very fast, but then I might slow it down because I want you to pay attention to the point that I'm going to make. And that's my pace. So I'll move at a very fast pace and then I will slow it down and make a point. And it may be a very powerful point. And by pacing, I can let you know what's very important and what's not. And then also you can see my voice, my volume, when you have contrast in the volume, when you speak loudly. And then if you want people to pay attention, you can lean in and to an extent whisper. And your audience might lean in. And just by having this contrast of volume, people know what they need to pay attention to, what they need to really pay attention to. And you can see that now I'm not only just doing volume, but I'm doing volume and I'm doing my pace. So, and then movement. When if I just sat there, hold on. If I just sat there and told a story, but just like looked at the camera and didn't do anything with my body and didn't move, then there's no contrast, and no contrast is not very exciting. People need movement. And so you'll see when I talk, I'll move a lot. I'll do different things with my body. Your tonality, your body language are all very, very important in telling a story. So those are just areas that you can contrast. So if you want communication glory, learn to use contrast in order to tell a story. So I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in. I appreciate you. That's my video for today, and I will catch you on another video very soon. Peace out, one love, and I will see you on another video real soon. Bye for now.